and agribusiness development, the president stated, and I quote, Mr. Speaker, we will implement a vegetable development project to enhance the production of tomato, onion, peppers, and other vegetables through the following measures, Mr. Speaker, unquote. Mr. Speaker, inherent in that promise was promising link to processing of tomato. Mr. Speaker, I understand the challenge the president may have. I understand the difficulty in the midst of several things the president has to do, but tomato is so a necessity on the dining tables of every single Ghanaian that I would expect this house, I expect the president to give it the edges. Mr. Speaker, you cannot promise to process tomato when the tomato is not even produced. And the promise was to revive the Ponugu tomato factory, Mr. Speaker. How do we revive this factory when tomato is not even produced? So, Mr. Speaker, I think that we would have to give this issue the necessary attention. Mr. Speaker, as a young boy growing up, tomato was commonly found in many of our households. Mr. Speaker, most of us pay our school fees through the sales of tomato. It was a dry season activity for most farmers, especially in the north. But that industry, that farming activity is on the verge of collapse. Mr. Speaker, I will not mince words if I say it is even collapsed. We need to do something about it. It is not for one government to address, but we expect the minister responsible for agriculture to look at this issue. Mr. Speaker, some few years ago, we had a problem that the former minister for agriculture had to even establish a vegetable market at the ministry. It was laughed at by some people. It was seen as an initiative that was actually knee-jerk to addressing the issue. But Mr. Speaker, when there's a disaster, when there is a challenge in food production, this is what happened. And I think that it's a shame that in the 21st century, we have to still import when we have arable land. If you look at the lands in the northern region, the lands in the Ashanti region, they are very conducive for the production of tomato and other vegetables. Mr. Speaker, why would we have to take our brothers to travel down south in search for menial jobs, non-existent jobs, when we can irrigate those lands for those people to be engaged in meaningful employment, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, I think that when Burkina Faso can do it, even with the nature of their land, it is virtually a desert. And we have land we cannot even use for the purposes of production, for the purpose of vegetable production. Mr. Speaker, I said this because just last year, as an MP for Wale Wale, I realized that dry season farming was one of the things that my people do, especially vegetable farming and cabbage. Mr. Speaker, as an initiative, I supported these farmers with dry season machines for the irrigation of their farms. And I'm not speaking just because I want to speak. I have taken personal initiative, and this issue is dear to me. If as an MP, I'm able to support 100 farmers with sprinkling machine, with machines they can use to irrigate their farms, the president and the government can do better. And we shouldn't think that it is something that is undoable or is something that cannot be done. It is doable. The president can do it, and the government can do it if we are committed to the agriculture, if we are committed to the rural farm, if we are committed to vegetable farm, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is a my colleague has made a good proposal that the irrigation scheme in his constituency, Mr. Speaker, we should see how we can actually support it for the purposes of supporting the farm. Mr. Speaker, I support this proposal. This proposed recommendation from my colleague is something that I think that if this house, Mr. Speaker, I want you to go into your record that under your chairmanship and your moderation of the house, you are able to also support this particular proposal that the offensive constituency irrigation system was revamped and the farmers were actually enjoying that particular benefit from your intervention.
I remember your time is up.
Opportunity.
Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Tomatoes farming is very crucial in Ghana, and I am surprised my brother is talking about Jomama and Palugu factory. I wish to remind him that it would have been better. Yes, Jomama said he is going to or we are going to revamp the Palugu tomato factory. But it would have been better if the government that left power quite recently had completed the multi-purpose dam at Palugu. You cannot talk about the factory without talking about Palugu multi-purpose dam, which we spent close to $12 million without any work to show. Mr. Speaker, when we were growing up, people used not to go to Burkina Faso to buy tomatoes. They used to buy it around Paga, Kandiga, Mirigu, Serego, and the Bolga enclave. That is where they used to buy tomatoes. They used not to cross to Burkina Faso to buy tomatoes. But they decided to go to Burkina when Burkina improved the seedling. You realize that the tomatoes we produce, when you even keep it down for 3 or 4 days, it will start, it will become watery. But with the tomatoes from Burkina Faso, when you keep it down for even a week, you will still come and meet it at the same state without it being watery. Mr. Speaker, the farming of tomatoes is very, very important to us. We cannot downplay the economic impact and the livelihood that it has on our farmers. Mr. Speaker, the farming of tomatoes, if we are intentional with it, definitely we will secure food security. And the nutrition aspect of it, we cannot downplay it. Mr. Speaker, tomatoes in Ghana, we are underusing it because, yes, we can get tomatoes paste from tomatoes, but do we know that we can get oil from tomatoes? We need to make sure that industrially we use our tomatoes very well. And how can we do that? We make sure that we get the infrastructure that will enable our farmers to go into the farming of tomatoes, so that when they cultivate the tomatoes, post-harvest loss will not be there if we have the industrial infrastructure for them. Mr. Speaker, the most challenging part of it is that technological advancement, we are still having, instead of us going into greenhouse farming, so that we get the quality of tomatoes that we need. Mr. Speaker, we are not doing that. Our seedlings are not crafted for us to get the quality tomatoes that we deserve as Ghanaians. Mr. Speaker, seasonality and post-harvest loss is the most important part of it. That is why today, I can remember around 99, people committed suicide around the tunnel dams, that is Navrongo, because of post-harvest loss. The tomato women who come to buy refused to buy the tomatoes and went to Burkina. Mr. Speaker, let's remind ourselves what happened recently in Titao. Our people went there to buy tomatoes. It is true that the other day I was here listening to our brothers from the other side. Titao was under the control of the jihadis, that is the terrorists. They call them jihadis. For so long, the Burkina government took over Titao, not quite long, and our people went there. And by chance, they went and there was exchange of bullets between the Burkina government and the terrorists there. And the most unfortunate incident happened. Mr. Speaker, we can take advantage. We shouldn't be worried that Burkina is banning tomatoes production. This is the time for us to take advantage of it, help our people to go into the farming of tomatoes and make the better use of the time, rather than going to beg Burkina Faso for them to allow tomatoes to be coming to Ghana. That would be a disadvantage to us and our farmers. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, minority leadership. Minority leadership. Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, my venerable leaders, for yielding to me. Mr. Speaker, there are things that shouldn't split us. as a nation. And one of them is food security. Mr. Speaker, it appears that oftentimes food security, industrialization are campaign promises of all of us when we are in opposition. Yet when we come into government, we forget about it. Indeed, more often than not, we only remember that we need to make sure that we produce more in our country than import when we go into crisis, when the cedi starts depreciating, when the economy starts tightening up. Then we remember that if we were to produce more locally, it will help reduce importation and then reduce the stress on our currency. It is only when we are in crisis. We therefore forget the scripture, Genesis chapter 41. Joseph, the dream, the interpretation of the dream of Pharaoh by Joseph, that there will be 7 years of abundance and 7 years of hunger, for which reason we need to build storages to store more food. We tend to forget. In our churches, it appears to be just a message by our pastors, and we fail to act upon it. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, this is not an issue of politics. It's an issue of godly wisdom, which we need to learn from as politicians. We should not wait until the city goes into crisis. We should not wait until one country decides to ban the exportation of one produce into our country or the other. Indeed, even in this whole era of globalization, we have watched on, we have looked on and become consumers instead of working hard to take advantage of the changing times and also become manufacturers and producers to the benefit of our country. And so, Mr. Speaker, I think that the statement by my brother, the Honorable MP for Offenso North, is welcome. We should take a cue from it and not wait until the city starts sliding. Then we say we are going to ban importation of agricultural produce to reduce the pressure on the city. We need not to wait for crisis. That is godly wisdom. And I think that my brother's prompting is very necessary. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, this is something that you may want to refer for us to look into. Let's remind ourselves of some of the promises we have been making whilst in opposition. We are going to can what we cannot. We are going to eat what we cannot can and can what we cannot eat. These were promises by President Kufuor in the year 2001. Subsequently, we have been making these promises. We keep making these promises. And in the long run, they come back to hurt us. And so, Mr. Speaker, I think that's a timely call. The Minister for Agric is in the chamber. He is somebody who listens and very passionate about what he does. And so, Mr. Speaker, very respectfully, I support his call. There's no need for this to split us politically. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, majority. Bench.
Speaker, the Honourable Minister responsible for Agric is here, so I yield to him for...
Minister responsible for Agric. Minister responsible for Agric.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this all-important statement. I think the import of the statement is to highlight the challenges confronting tomato production in Ghana and to see how together we can resolve this challenge. In fact, this tomato importation has been with Ghana for a long time. Mr. Speaker, as we speak, national demand for tomato is estimated at 800,000 metric tons, and production is at 510,000 tons, indicating that we have a gap of approximately 300,000 metric tons to close before we can attain sufficiency in tomato production in Ghana. But we have to understand, we have to have a better appreciation of the challenge, the root cause of it, before we can prefer the appropriate solution to deal with it. Mr. Speaker, when you look at the Burkina situation, the total land area under cultivation of tomatoes in Burkina Faso is 17,000 hectares. And with the 17,000 hectares, they are able to produce 306,000 metric tons. The per hectare production is 18 metric tons. Every hectare of land used in the production of tomato in Burkina Faso is able to produce 18 tons. Now listen to the Ghana situation. In the Ghanaian case, in the dry season, 47,000 hectares of land is used in the production of tomatoes. In the peak season, the major season, in Ghana, you use 92,000 hectares. So the land size is between 47,000 and 92,000 hectares of land. But Mr. Speaker, that huge, large tract of land is able to produce 510,000 tons, indicating that per hectare production of tomatoes in Ghana is just 8 tons. While our counterparts in Burkina Faso are doing 18 tons per hectare, we are doing 8 tons. So what is the problem? The problem is the seed, the variety that is used in the production of tomatoes. And so we have decided, and this morning we had a meeting with Waki of Legon and some of the research institutions, and they have given us the assurance that they can give us a variety that can give us more than 20 tons per hectare. Yeah. More than 20 tons per hectare. So we are asking, we are committing them, we have made some resources available to ensure that we develop that variety to bring a lasting solution to the problem. Then the second challenge has to do with management of post-harvest losses. Because we can, in that case, post-harvest losses alone constitute 30% of our produce. So we are reporting total production of 510,000 tons. Total production. 30% have gone waste already. So when you add that 30%, you are bringing on board additional 153,000 tons. So if we are able to eliminate post-harvest losses alone, we are adding onto our production 153,000 tons of tomato. That reduces the gap from 300 to 140,000. Mr. Speaker, what are we doing to contain the situation? On assumption of office, after we have diagnosed the challenges, ascertained the root causes of the situation, we decided to launch a program called Vegetable Development Project, popularly known as Yaridia. This project was launched somewhere in June, July last year. Mr. Speaker, the project is anchored on 3 pillars. 1 is seed. 1 is seed. And then 2 is irrigation. And 3 is marketing.
Honorable Minister, your time
In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, I thought that this is a very important statement on the floor.
Honorable Minister, once your time is up, your time is up. Honorable Minister, with all due respect, your time is up.
In conclusion, as we speak today,
Honorable Minister, your time is up. Your microphone is off.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable, this brings us to the end of statement time. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, may I take you to the other paper, item number 28, Mr. Speaker. For 28, the value for money bill consideration. Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, item number 28. Value for money office bill 2026 at consideration stage.
There's no problem to that, but Chief Whip, your report, House Committee report, is outstanding. The superannuation is also outstanding. The insurance thing for members, that report is also tomorrow. Okay, and our motion is outstanding. Our motion. Today's order paper, item 42, is still outstanding. Which issues? No, we will take that motion. Just as we are compromising we are taking other business. That one will take it. 42. Speaker, we want to say for the record, today we will take the motion number 42 in today's order paper. We are going to take it. We will do the other business, but this one you will compromise on it. We will take it. Chief Whip, I'll give you foreknowledge. You will take it.
Honourable members, before taking the value for money office bill, let me acknowledge the presence of World Carnival Commission led by Mr. Henry Anchon and Mr. Rax Mindy, Ms. Jimama Jordan, Mr. Michael D. Roberts. Henry Anton is the president and Pax Mindy is the chief executive officer. From Trinidad and Tobago, Zimbabwe, British, Trinidad and Tobago, respectively. We also have students from Bright School Complex, led by Samuel Amash, a teacher. They are from Adenta, the number 50. We have Elimon International School, led by Jonathan Odai, a teacher. They are from Gomua East, the number 61. We have Whitefield School, led by Eugenia Nande, proprietress. They are from Ewutu Senya East, the number 90. We have Agri Memorial School, led by Harriet Adiwood, Metro Director, NCCE Secondary, the number 65. We also have St. Anne's Anglican School, led by Harriet Adewood, Metro Director, NCC Secondary, number 65. We have Secondary Presby School, led by Saint Harriet Adewood, Metro Director, NCC Secondary, they also numbered 65. Honourable members, on your behalf, I welcome them to Parliament of Ghana and urge them to have a fruitful visit. Kindly resume your seats. Yes, value for money. Office bill at consideration stage. Clause 1.
Establishment of the value for money office.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no advertised amendment.
Members, no advertised amendment on clause 1. It is for the consideration of the House. Any proposed amendment? In the absence of any proposed amendment, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of clause 1 standing part of the bill, say aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. Clause 1 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 2.
Objects of the office.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, clause 2, amendment proposed. Paragraph A, line 1, after coordinate, delete promote and develop and insert promote, develop and conduct. I so submit.
Members, the proposed amendment is for your consideration. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I support the chairman's amendment, but Mr. Speaker, promote should come before even regulate and monitor. But Mr. Speaker, with your indulgence and with your leave, 2A, when you say, as a chairman have submitted, promote, develop and conduct value for money assessment of what? Of what? We must define. You are doing value for money assessment of what? If it is contract, say so. If it is anything, the value for money, what is the assessment of? So I want further amendment. You are right on it. That's the object of it. So because we are dealing with the object of the law, let us state it quite clearly that you want to regulate, monitor, develop and promote value for money assessment of what? Thank you.
Honorable Minister, if you turn to page 40, you will realize that value for money assessment has been defined. Value for money assessment means a systematic evaluation of the economy, efficiency, effectiveness, equity, and sustainability in public expenditure. So in view of the fact that they have defined value for money assessment, the issue of value for money assessment for what will not arise.
Mr. Speaker, I'm guided, but Mr. Speaker, along the line in this bill, we would have been saying to achieve the objects under this act. So to achieve the objects under this act, I agree that it's been defined, but once is the object of the office. If it is public expenditure, then bring it there. The only word I've seen you for which, Mr. Speaker, I want to yield is that you are doing the assessment on public expenditure. I would have narrowly said, for instance, you are doing value for money on contracts. But if it is on public expenditure, I think that it should reflect in the object. But I have no hard feelings, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Very well. I'll put a question on the proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee. As many as are in favor, say aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now, I'll put a question on the entire clause 2. In the absence of any amendment, yes.
Mr. Speaker, clause 2, why cost estimation methodologies? Mr. Speaker, in the past, if you had contracts which were, for instance, led by the UK export credit, they will subject you to a value for money agency which undertook it. Why are we looking at only cost estimation methodologies? Cost estimation methodologies. Why are you using methodologies and not just cost estimates? Cost estimation. Why are you qualifying it with the word methodologies? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, if the minister will avert his mind to the entire clause 2, we are looking at cost estimation methodologies, II, contract management processes, III, expenditure control mechanism employed by covered entities in the management of public funds. So we are not just looking at only methodologies.
Then, Mr. Speaker, finally to the last C, ensure efficiency in public expenditure. Why would we add the word management? Because every time you talk about PFM, public finance management, why are you ending only at ensure efficiency in public expenditure management? Whether that is not a term of art, Honorable Deputy Finance Minister, policy.
No, Mr. Speaker, already under III, we've introduced management of public funds. So we've taken care of it already.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, to respond to the Minister for Education, the public financial management is broad. This bill is specifically looking at public expenditure, and that is why it is a subset of the entire public financial management. Thank you.
I'll put a question on entire clause 2. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 2 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 3.
Functions of the office.
Mr. Speaker, with your leave and indulgence, when you come to clause 3B, and I need guidance, develop and enforce standards for value for money assessment. Then they have now introduced an evaluation tools. Evaluation tools. Why have you added evaluation tools? If you want the evaluation to be part, why didn't we make part of the object evaluation? It's just a question I'm asking for clarity. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the value for money office is expected to have officers or officials at various levels. And for instance, an officer at the district assembly level will have to have a tool to work with. And it is expected that this value for money office will approve of all the tools that will be used so that it can be implemented at all levels.
Yes.
Speaker, I don't think there's sufficient clarity on this. Mr. Speaker, I have checked with members of the committee. Contrary to what is contained in paragraph 3 of the memorandum accompanying this bill, where the ministry, in introducing this bill, stated, quote, globally, countries such as the United Kingdom, Canada, Singapore, Slovakia, and the United States have established statutory frameworks such as the National Audit Office of the United Kingdom, Value for Money Audit Manual of Canada, and the United States Government Accountability Office to ensure the optimal use of public funds. The adoption by Ghana of a similar framework will align with global best practices and strengthen the public financial management architecture of the country. Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, the reference document was never made available to committee members and even to this plenary. Mr. Speaker, if you may recall, the countries, he's talking about other jurisdictions, and he's saying that what we are doing is to align with their laws, and therefore they are borrowing from that source. I believe that to help us, we need to have at least these source documents to guide deliberations, because we are seeing this here for the first time. And the committee, at the committee level, the very reference you have made, you did not make that available at the plenary at this consideration stage. Mr. Speaker, the very document that you've made reference to, the last time, Mr. Speaker, at the second reading, I referred you to some of these statutes that, according to you, you are complying with global best practice. But Mr. Speaker, none of the provisions you have here can be found in any of the source documents you refer to. Mr. Speaker, yes. Mr. Speaker, none of the provisions here, especially when it comes to the objects, the functions, and then from there you talk about the governing body of the office. You cannot introduce a document in this house, make reference to your source document, and you cannot first make that available to guide deliberation. This is an important law we are enacting. Two, apart from the absence of these documents, none of the laws that you refer to, okay, can be found as part of what you are referring to, Mr. Speaker. So I don't understand exactly what the deputy minister is here to do. It's the reason why the education minister is having issue with the bill. Mr. Speaker, no, he doesn't need to associate himself with me. He has concerns, and I have the same concern.
Honorable Minority Leader.
That's exactly. We are doing legislation. Honorable Minister of Education. Mr. Speaker, bear with me a second. We are doing legislation. The Minister of the Deputy Minister of Finance, in the memorandum accompanying the bill, has made reference.
Yes, but Honorable Minority Leader.
But we need that to guide us.
The Education Minister expressed concern. Every member of Parliament, when the bill is under consideration, can express concern. He never said he's having any difficulty with.
Mr. Speaker, for want of a better word, Mr. Speaker, don't worry. For want of a better word, it is my contention that the non-availability of the source document, which has been referenced in paragraph 3 of the memorandum, is a source of the concerns by all of us. Well, because, Mr. Speaker, how can you say you are enacting a law to comply with global practices, yet the source of your reference cannot be found here? He should produce.
It's very novel. That will happen in
Mr. Speaker, they couldn't procure that at the committee level.
Yes,
where are the laws? You said UK. You've referred to UK. You've referred to Slovakia. You've referred to United States. Where are their laws on value for money?
Yes, Majority Leader.
This value for money, this so-called law, it is rather going to promote corruption. If you don't take counsel, you are going to make things worse. You don't listen.
Majority Leader, let me hear you.
Mr. Speaker, the Minority Leader is clearly out of order. We are dealing with consideration of a bill. He is taking us back to second reading. He's taking us back to second reading. It is at second reading that we are concerned about the memorandum and what the memorandum says. But Mr. Speaker, I am disappointed to hear the Minority Leader raise issues about the absence of reference documents. Is it not for you as a member of Parliament to go and look for the reference documents? Is it not your job? It's your job to go and look for the reference documents. Nowhere have we ever in this house, when we are passing legislation and we say we are trying to pass a legislation to comply with global best practices, then we have to go and then make copies of all the legislation in the world and come and hand it to the committee. It has never happened. It has never happened. In this AI world, which you have been advocating for in this chamber, all you needed to do was to use your phone to Google, and you would have seen the legislation in the UK
you will see the legislation in Canada, you will see the legislation in the United States. Your phone, instead of using your phone for very productive measures, you use it for matters we cannot discuss openly in this chamber. You should have just Googled and you will see all the reference documents. So, Mr. Speaker, I think this is going to just drag us back. Let's focus on the if you have an issue with a specific provision that we are about to pass, let us know. But what you are saying that it doesn't comply. You who have not seen the reference document, how do you know that it doesn't comply? You just said that you haven't seen the reference document. And on another breath, you are saying that it doesn't comply with the global best practices. How do you know that it doesn't comply when you haven't seen the reference documents? So please, let us proceed.
Honorable members, I don't want us to debate this particular issue. We have passed through the stage of the debate. It is a second reading that will debate the memorandum and the report of the committee under Order 127. That has happened. We are now at the stage of a consideration stage. So if we can go straightly and do the needful at the consideration stage of a bill, we would help ourselves. Yes.
Speaker, with respect, at consideration stage, where inputs are made to enrich the law and ensure that the law that is being enacted will be fit for purpose, members of parliament need proper information, education on the bill. The minister who is sponsoring the bill himself must justify each clause with his reference document. Mr. Speaker, we have gotten to clause 2. There are issues that were raised and we are moving to the next clause. The argument here is that in the memorandum accompanying the bill, certain references have been made. Those references are aimed at guiding. It was part of his persuasive language as a sponsor to tell us that, look, what we are doing is being practiced elsewhere. But Mr. Speaker, as we speak, we cannot consider the bill clause by clause and make input when the minister himself has not made available those other laws he is referring to. He did not make it available at the committee level. He has not made it available at the plenary. So, Mr. Speaker, what are we doing? We are considering.
What is your proposed amendment to clause 3?
Mr. Speaker, I am saying that to make meaningful amendment, to make meaningful law, members of parliament need that reference document that the sponsor has referred to. The deputy minister cannot be here and talk about best practices and say that we should do consideration. Mr. Speaker, if it is your pleasure,
yes.
If it is your pleasure,
yes.
that without any reference document, this house should continue business as usual. Mr. Speaker, I rest my case.
Yes, it is not the responsibility of the minister to be making reference document available. In the absence of any proposed amendment to clause 3, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 3 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 4.
Governing body of the office.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, clause 4, amendment proposal clause 1, paragraph E, delete and insert the following. E, one woman with expertise in gender and equity nominated by the president. The original rendition was nominated by the minister. So we are deleting the minister and in place we'll put the president there. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
I'll put a question on the. So is the amendment on that proposed amendment?
Mr. Speaker, probably with your indulgence, 4-1, even before
Let's deal
with the chairman's own.
Let's deal with the proposed amendment on the floor. When I'm about to put a question on the entire clause 4, then you can raise any issue on the clause. All those in favor of the proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee is ordered to stand part of the bill. Yes, chairman. Aye.
Mr. Speaker, one is to remind the minority leader. I note that he was saying that I'm raising issues. This is consideration stage of the law. And Mr. Speaker, as you may recall, the Supreme Court in one of its rulings indicted Parliament that when it comes to consideration, we don't subject the legislation to many of these issues. This is our responsibility to enrich the process. But Mr. Speaker, mine is just again a matter to reconcile. When you have 4-1A, a chairperson nominated by the minister, then you have further in sub-clause 2, the president shall, in accordance with Article 70 of the Constitution, appoint the chairperson and other members.
What we normally do is that we allow the chairman's amendment to be carried. If whatever concern you have has not been addressed by the proposed amendment in favor of the chairman, before putting the question on the entire clause, then you can raise your issue. So, proposed amendment numbered III. Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, clause 4, amendment proposed, subclause 1, paragraph F, subparagraph I, delete. We are deleting the entire clause.
Honorable members, the amendment is to delete subclause 1, paragraph F(I). I'll put a question. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Yes, IV.
Mr. Speaker, amendment proposed, subclause 1 after paragraph IR, insert the following paragraph. The Ghana Institute of Architects, nominated by the President of the Ghana Institute of Architects, I so submit.
I'll put a question. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. Now the entire clause 4. Minister for very well. Yes.
Speaker, with respect. I move that the entire clause 4 be deleted. And Mr. Speaker, I say so for the following reasons. 1, this value for money office is supposed to be independent. And if you look at the clause 2C, the provision there is to ensure efficiency in public expenditure. Mr. Speaker, the proposed governing body, as we find, is politically controlled. Mr. Speaker, earlier in his submission, the respected former leader, Honorable Harry Nedruso, as he then was, referred to some situations in the past where, Mr. Speaker, certain international bodies were in charge of value for money. We know how independent such bodies were. Mr. Speaker, for government to say that we are proposing a new value for money office to ensure efficiency in our procurement system, then again that same body is loaded with politically exposed appointees. Mr. Speaker, It is like taking it with the left hand and passing the left hand behind you and giving it back to the right hand. Mr. Speaker, I submit that maintaining this composition, Mr. Speaker, will render this whole office nugatory. What they seek to achieve, Mr. Speaker, would rather be compounded if you make it politically exposed persons going into that office. Mr. Speaker, chairperson A to be nominated by the minister, a representative of the Attorney General, Mr. Speaker, a lawyer from the legal directorate of the ministry, also nominated by the minister, expertise in gender equity nominated by the minister. Mr. Speaker, we only have institutional representation, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, yes, but that the political appointees exceed the institutional representation. Mr. Speaker, we cannot.
So your proposal is to delete entire clause 4.
Mr. Speaker, can I finish my argument? You can't rush me. If you want it, I am on my feet arguing. Mr. Speaker, you must allow debate to flow. I said 1. I am going to 2. Mr. Speaker, I'm a lawyer, I'm a practitioner in a court. I know my brief. Yes, Mr. Speaker, when I mount an argument, I know how to stage it and end it. Don't rush me. The issue here is a serious national issue. We don't want Fourth Estate to be dictating to Parliament and tell Parliament that Parliament does not do its job. Let us do the job here and then not allow CSOs and media to dictate to Parliament. Mr. Speaker, let's allow debate in this house. The fact that we are in opposition doesn't mean that anything we say is aimed at frustrating government. What I am saying makes a lot of sense. Government cannot introduce value for money bill and load it with political appointees. Then you don't have to do it at all. Then why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? If you really want to ensure efficiency in public expenditure, don't load it with political appointees. I have looked at the other jurisdictions. That's why I wanted you to make it available. They have no political appointees.
Minority Leader, are you complaining about loading it with the political appointee, or you want the entire clause 4 to be deleted? Because when I listen to your argument and your initial proposal that you want the entire clause 4 to be deleted, and your argument is that it is loaded, it's difficult to get the angle from which you are coming from. That's why I'm asking you, is your proposal to delete the entire clause 4?
Speaker, now there's clarity in your question. Initially it was...
But you didn't hear me out.
Mr. Speaker, I did. The way it came out, Mr. Speaker, we listen to each other. Mr. Speaker, that is so. Mr. Speaker, you're right. You know, the presiding officer would always be right. Mr. Speaker, the presiding officer would always be right. You must see, Mr. Speaker, the rule is that you must eat a humble pie when you have to eat it. So the presiding officer is right. You are well placed in the east to guide the house, Mr. Speaker. Must you, with all the resources available at you at the ministry, allow Parliament to direct you what to do? You are telling me what? Please, Mr. Speaker has directed. Let us help you. Let us help you. You don't even have numbers to do this bill. Ampim, you are my junior brother. Humble yourself. Oh. Mr. Speaker, when we came into this house, Ampim was not here. When we came here, you were not here. You were not here. So you are older than your minister. Yes, but you are older than your minister. Yes, your minister is your junior brother. Mr. Speaker, having heard Honorable Harun Idrisu not in the records and having heard your guidance, I am compelled to amend Mr. Speaker, to amend my proposal. I therefore will move that we rather delete the clause 4(1) A to F, because I've seen that FI to V, in fact to VI are all institutional representatives. So the institutional reps allow, at least there is some independence there. But Mr. Speaker, for A to E are all politically exposed persons. And therefore it will defeat the purpose of this bill. Mr. Speaker, I would want us to flag it. This is a policy, no, of course, would that's an exception. The DG is an exception, please. Mr. Speaker, I would propose that we flag this for further engagement on it, Mr. Speaker, because none of the jurisdictions that the minister refers to has political exposed persons on the governing board. None of them. So if the minister is really saying that he is actually referring to other jurisdictions, then it is important that he does a correct reference. So, Mr. Speaker, we should flag it and not be in a rush to put politically exposed persons there. Otherwise, Mr. Speaker, nothing will be achieved.
Yes. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, the minority leader has not even told us who a politically exposed person is. You must know who a politically exposed person is before you can even make the arguments that you are making. So, who is a politically exposed person? Is it because the person has been appointed by a politician, nominated by a politician? So that is the tangent in which your argument is going. So if the minister nominates a chairperson, the chairperson can be a lecturer at the University of Ghana who is in finance. Now, how is that a politically exposed person? How is that a politically exposed person? Every citizen has a right to belong to a political party. Every citizen. What the law is against is partisan politics in the conduct of your official business. Not that you should not be affiliated to any political party. So there is nothing here that suggests that the Director General is a politically exposed person. Nothing suggests that the chairperson nominated by the minister is a politically exposed person. Nothing suggests that one representative from the Office of the Attorney General and Ministry of Justice, not below the rank of Chief Justice, Attorney General, Chief State Attorney, nominated by the Attorney General and the Minister for Justice, nothing shows that this is a politically exposed person. D, a lawyer from the Legal Affairs Directorate of the Ministry nominated by the Minister, nothing shows that this is a politically exposed person. The Minister arrives at the Ministry, there are several lawyers at the Legal Affairs Department, he has to choose one of them to serve on the board. How is that person a politically exposed person? Simply because the minister has found him in the ministry and has decided that he should serve on the governing board. And then one person with expertise in gender equity nominated by the minister. Is it the gender equity that is political, or what is political about the character of this person? So your argument really has no basis, absolutely no basis to say that these are politically exposed persons. In any case, you haven't even shown us that in other legislation, the people who are occupying ministerial portfolios have no role or hand in deciding those who are in the government. No, you are showing, you are arguing, so you should show.
Yes, Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to draw the attention of the minority leader to something. In fact, during the second reading, he made that statement and he's repeated it today, that in the other jurisdiction, nobody has been appointed by an officer of the government. And that is not true, Mr. Speaker. Listen to this. The Chancellor of the Exchequer has today, and the date is 30th October 2024, announced the appointment of David Goldstone as independent chair of the Office for Value for Money. So it is never true that in other jurisdiction the chairperson is not appointed by the finance minister or the exchequer. And Mr. Speaker, as has been stated, if you look at the 13-member board that has been provided for here, only 2 of them are appointed In fact, nominated and appointed by the finance minister, and it is the chairman nominated by the minister and the director general, who will eventually be, all of them will be appointed by the president anyway. All the rest are institutional reps. So how is this politically exposed? Are you saying representatives from Institute of Chartered Accountants, a representative from this institution will be a politically exposed person? Are you saying a representative from the Public Procurement Authority will be politically exposed? Are you saying a rep from the Ghana Institute of Surveyors and a rep from Institute of Engineers, and now we are adding a rep from the Architects, Institute of Architects? All these are institutional reps. And Mr. Speaker, for the record, outside this house, Apenyo should be calling me Bratomi, but he stands here and he'll be opening his eyes and speaking to, look, I'm your elder brother, not your younger brother. So take note of that. Thank you.
This is not an invitation to you.
Speaker, Mr. Speaker, this is a House of Records. I made some submissions and the minister got the phone of Honorable Ramadan, and based on that he quickly read a so-called legislation. He should be careful. In that, no, you said the Chancellor has appointed an independent chair. Mr. Speaker, what you don't know is that they have an advisory council that determines the independent. Can you listen? Can you listen? We are helping you to govern. So don't let anybody mislead you. You yourself as a minister, you don't have the document as part of your file. Somebody just opened it to you and you are reading from a phone and you want to use that to counter me? No. Mr. Speaker, there is no such thing that politically exposed persons are appointed. Mr. Speaker, I would make my argument that if indeed the government intends making this value for money law a vehicle in ensuring efficiency in public expenditure, they should have a second look at the governing body. Mr. Speaker, whatever reference you are making in those other jurisdictions, even when there are political appointments, they are seen as independent because, Mr. Speaker, the monitoring mechanisms in those jurisdictions make it difficult for even after you've earned a political appointment to act in a certain manner that undermines the independence of your office. We don't have the same thing in Ghana. In Ghana, we don't have the same thing. So if we want to ensure some efficiency, Mr. Speaker, it is important.
We do have the same thing in Ghana.
Well, Mr. Speaker, you and I know that they are not sufficient enough. We know the weakness in our system.
Is there any independent constitutional body
Mr. Speaker,
who is not appointed by the president?
Then we should start with this legislation. What we are doing is to further weaken this body ab initio. Mr. Speaker, that's my argument. But if they don't understand and they want to pursue it, put a question to it. Let them use their majority to say that they disagree, and we move on.
Majority Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, can you put the question? Because if you look at
as many as are in favor of clause 4 as variously amended, say aye. Aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. Clause 4 as variously amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 5.
It's the same thing you are repeating. So,
Chairman of the committee.
Of the board.
Yeah. Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there's no advertisement.
With your indulgence and leave, clause 5, there is no advertised amendment, but for elegance and for exercise general oversight responsibility. Now, Speaker, I have a difficulty with the word responsibility accompanying oversight. What does oversight means? It's responsibility. So if we want elegance, say for those of you who are modern day drafters, it should just read exercise general oversight for the strategic direction of the office. You don't need oversight responsibility. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I think it's not fatal, so we can go with him.
Well, I'll direct the drafters to look at it for us once I put a question on clause 5. As many as are in favor say aye. Very well.
Mr. Speaker, before you put the question on 5, I generally agree, but again, you have to read the entirety of the legislation. In the functions of the board, emphasis is on functions of the object, but the board will have a responsibility to ensure the attainment of the object. You just got through object in clause 2. So I'm wondering why in clause 5 no reference is made to the board striving to attain the object of this bill. I just thought that I should bring it for clarity, because it is not just the functions. You set out objects in clause 2. So the board must have a responsibility to ensure the attainment of the object. I should submit. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Chairman of the committee.
The chairman, you should propose this amendment so that if we agree with it, then we'll take a decision.
But the functions of the board is always towards the attainment of the object.
Speaker, I can put the question.
Very well. As many as are in favor of clause 5, subject to the direction to the drafters to look at 5A, say aye. Those against say no. Clause 5 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 6.
Duties and liabilities of a member of the board.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, we are doing legislation, and when you use words like to act honestly, what would be the legal measure of acting honestly? It's a liability. It's an onerous liability. You expect that the person will act honestly and in the best interest of the office, in the performance of the functions of the officer. My problem is with the language in 6(1)(a), to act honestly in relation to what? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
6(1) doesn't have A. So that should be 6(2)(a). Is that 6(2)(a)?
His proposed amendment.
As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 6 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 7.
Tenure of office of members of the board.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no advertised amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Those in favor of clause 7 standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no.
Mr. Speaker, I with your leave and indulgence, sub-clause 5, where a court determines that the office has suffered a loss or damage, do you want to substitute office for institution?
Clause 7?
I'm on 6(5), Mr. Speaker.
We have put a question on 6.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any proposed amendment to 7?
Mr. Speaker, what he is referring to
We are now on clause 7, tenure of office of members of the board. We may come during second consideration. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 7 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 8.
Meetings of the board.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, clause 8, amendment proposed, so clause 3, delete 5 and insert 6. The original regulation reads, the quorum for a meeting of the board is 5 members. So we are deleting 5 and in place we put
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendment? I'll put a question on the chairman's amendment. As many as are in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee is ordered to stand part of the House, the bill. I will then put a question on the entire clause 8. As many as are in favour of clause 8 standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 8 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 9.
Disclosure of interest.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Yes,
Mr. Speaker, just for elegance, a member of the board who has an interest in a matter for consideration, who has an interest in a matter for consideration before the board, I assume, and I think so, for and under consideration. But Mr. Speaker, as I said, I belong to the old school drafters. I don't know whether modern drafting wants to use under consideration or...
Yes, but at the time that you'll be disclosing your interest, the matter is before the board for consideration. It's not under consideration. So the word here is correct. I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of clause 9 standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 9 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 10.
Establishment of committees.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendments? As many as are in favor of clause 10 standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 10 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 11.
Allowances.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendment to clause 11? In the absence of any proposed amendment, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of clause 11 standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 11 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 12.
Independence of the office.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no advertised
It
amendment.
is for the consideration of the House. Yes, Minister for Education.
Mr. Speaker, for elegance, mostly I looked at an independent commission, and the phrase has always been shall not be subject to the direction or control of any person or authority. It ends there. Why do you want to add the rest of the words in the performance of the functions of the office? So delete those words, except as otherwise provided in the Constitution or by any other enactment. The office is. So you are creating an office which you want to presume independent. It should not be subject to the direction and control of any person or authority. It should end there. If I have my way, Mr. Speaker, the words from in the performance of the functions of the office should go because of the earlier office used in line 2. I so submit. Thank you.
But we just done the governing body, and there's an indication as to how members of the governing body are supposed to be appointed. That is why it is being limited to the performance of their functions. If you subject the entire office, what happens to the appointment?
Mr. Speaker, I agree, except that for proper elegance, the performance should have come earlier in the second line before you subject it to
the rendition is except as otherwise provided in the
performance
Constitution
of its functions
or by any other enactment.
in the
office is not subject to the direction or control of a person or an authority in the performance of the functions of the office. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, you can direct the draft people, but
When it comes to the appointment, it is somebody else who have to do it.
In the performance of its functions, should come before we say shall not be subject to
the performance of the function, not its function. In the performance of the function.
Mr. Speaker, refer to Article 45 of the Constitution and see the words.
Yes, we know the provision in Article 45 of the Constitution. But here, looking at the nature of the board and how the members of the board are going to be appointed, if you subject it entirely to independence, then it means what happens to the appointment. So this one, their independence is limited to the performance of their function. Once they are performing their function, they are not subject to the control or direction of anybody. I'll put a question in. As many as are in favor of clause 12 standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 12 is ordered to stand part of the bill. So clause 13 will fortify further the discussion. Yes, Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, clause 13, amendment proposed, line 1, delete policy. So the original edition reads, the minister may give directives to the board on matters of policy in line with the objects and functions of the office, and the board shall comply. So we are deleting policy. If you say policy directives, it's superfluous.
Very well. As many as are in favor of the proposed amendment say aye. Those against say no. And now, Chairman of the committee, clause 12 is saying their independence in the performance of their function. Why are you giving them a direction regarding the functions of the office?
Mr. Speaker, if you read the entire 13, the minister may give directives to the board on matters of policy.
Yes.
The underlying word is policy.
Yes.
So it's not just to influence the independence, but it's giving.
So why are you putting and function? Because in 12, the rendition is saying that they are independent in the performance of their function. So if you are going to give them policy directives in the performance of their function, how independent are they? Yes, Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I get the import of what you are saying, so we can delete functions and say that the minister may give policy directives to the board on matters of policy in line with the object of the office, and the board shall comply. Thank you, sir.
Those in favor say aye. Aye. Yes, Honorable Bowman.
I think the initial amendment proposed by the committee was to delete the first part of policy. But in the minister's rendition, he repeated policy directives. So just so we get that correction made.
Well, the marginal notes, that's what they want to read, policy. But having a policy directive in the body doesn't spoil anything.
No, but the precision read by the chairman of the committee was to the effect that the minister may give directives to the board on matters of policy in line with the object, and now we are taking out functions. So in line with the object of the office, and the board shall comply. I think that is where the minister came in to delete the function.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm saying that when he read, he referenced, he repeated, may give policy directives. But the committee had already made recommendation.
Very well, very well. That amendment has been carried. Or I didn't put a question on that. I put a question on that already. So I'm now putting the question on the proposed amendment by the minister. Yes.
So what he is drawing attention to is that the minister should drop the word policy in his proposed amendment.
Yes, I understand, because this amendment proposed by the chairman of the committee is already carried out. But in reading the rendition, he repeated it. But I'm not putting the question on that. I'm putting the question on the further proposal to 13 to delete and functions of the office. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment by the minister is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now the rendition, the minister may give directives to the board on matters of policy in line with the object, and the board shall comply. I'll put a question on it as standing as 13. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 13 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now clause 14.
Director General.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no advertised amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, under clause 14C, has not within the last 2 years been found liable and so on. Mr. Speaker, I want to move that we extend the number of years to 5 instead of 2 years. Since 2 years is too short for someone who has been found liable, dismissed and convicted, a period for one to hold the office of a Director General.
So what is your proposal?
So my proposal is that C has not within the last 5 years been found liable for professional misconduct, and I.
So 2 years is short.
That is so, Mr. Speaker.
What is the limitation period in that regard? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, guided by my colleague's comment, there is a difficulty with the C has not within the last 2 years. Why should we say within last 2 years? Any person who has evidence of professional misconduct have been dismissed from public office, convicted for an offense involving fraud, will not be qualified to serve in this office of value for money. So, Mr. Speaker, the 2 years must go. He has not been, then the rest of the words follow. We shouldn't open it for 2 years, for 3 years, or 4 years. Minimum standards of public decency in public service will require that when you are engaged in this, how can you guarantee value for money? So, Mr. Speaker, 2 years, no. Even for public office here in Parliament, normally it says 10 years. When the Constitution, the criminal liability is 10 years. So, Mr. Speaker, it has not. The words within the last 2 years are proposed to be deleted. I so submit. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Bowman.
Mr. Speaker, I just want to associate myself with the arguments of the Minister of Education. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Yes, I think by Article 94 is 10 years. Yes, Honorable Minister.
Chairman, I support the position, but I want your guidance whether if we delete it completely, it will not be against the spirit of the Constitution. If not, we increase the years to 10 years for it to be consistent. But if your guidance is that we take it off completely, we can ban such a person.
Yes, the proposal is not to take it off completely, but we'll ask the drafters to look at Article 94 of the Constitution and bring the rendition in line. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, let's be careful. I am for making sure that anybody with a criminal record does not get to the office of
value for money. But there is another subclause, 2, Roman numeral 2, dismissed from public office. Dismissed from public office. We know our politics and we know how we govern in this country. Many people get dismissed from public office, sometimes not because of some criminal or other malfeasance. If you cease to satisfy your appointing authority, you can be dismissed from this.
First, then we can come to your issue.
Yes.
So I'll direct the drafters to look at the C and bring it in line with the constitutional provision of 10 years. Now later we can hear you in respect with CII.
Mr. Speaker, where is the 10 years proposal coming from? No, Mr. Speaker. I thought we agreed that.
Yes.
For members of parliament.
Yes.
For members of parliament.
Yes. They want the same condition to apply.
Mr. Speaker, we are talking about an anti-corruption legislation. We're not just coming to parliament and sitting in parliament. So I am for the position that once you have a criminal record, you cannot serve in the office of value for money. The standard must be very, very high. The standard must be very, very high. So, forever and ever, once you have a criminal record, you cannot occupy that particular office. You can be a member of parliament, you can be a minister of state, you can be anything else, but for value for money, we don't want you anywhere near there.
The proposal is to delete in C within the last 2 years, and it will read, has not been I found liable for professional misconduct, I dismissed from public office, I convicted for an offense involving fraud, dishonesty, and moral turpitude. I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of yes.
Can you repeat the rendition?
So it means that we will delete within last 2 years. Going by your suggestion that if you are involved in any of these offenses, you cannot be occupying that high office of the office of value for money, because it's going to serve as an anti-corruption office. Then the proposal is to delete within last 2 years. So it will read, has been A, has not been A, found liable for professional misconduct, B, dismissed from public office, or convicted for an offense involving fraud, dishonesty, and moral turpitude. Yes.
Speaker, taking a cue from what Majority Leader said, and also agreeing with him to some extent with regards to the way public officials can be dismissed in this country, I want to propose that we delete II and let's see read, has not been found liable for professional misconduct or convicted for an offense involving
the
fraud.
Proposal is for the consideration of the House. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Deputy Minister for Finance is the sponsor of this bill. Value for money is at the heart of economic graft and corruption, over-invoicing, under-invoicing. These are the sins you want to cure. Mr. Speaker, I want to believe that the majority leader should avert his mind. We are seeking a Ghana where the law works. If anybody is dismissed and meritoriously you think that you have not been dismissed on meritorious ground, go to court and question it. That's first assumption. Then second, Mr. Speaker, you want somebody to come and say that behave right, and the person has a history of behaving wrong. It not fit for purpose, for value, for money. I agree, legitimate leader, that you are looking at Ghana's political system where without basis. But Mr. Speaker, in many instances, they may be dismissing you with a letter saying that you have committed fraud or any act of dishonesty or moral turpitude. So I will still think that if we want this particular clause to have teeth to bite, we should take away the within 2 years. And like you, absolutely, we've agreed. But don't take away the dismissal. You see, you are creating an office of value for money.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I dropped the proposed amendment to delete 2.
I will then put a question on entire clause 14 as amended. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 14 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 15.
Functions of the Director General.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no advertised amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. All members, any proposed amendment? In the absence of any proposed amendment, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of clause 15 standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 15 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 16.
Deputy Director General.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no advertised amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. All members, any proposed amendment? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, the line 2 of clause 16 appoint a deputy director general for the office. I think we should delete the A, because you can appoint 2 deputy directors. You can appoint 3 deputy directors. But if you put a deputy director there, it means that you are appointing only 1 deputy director.
The law does not envisage.
Why do you want 1?
The law does not envisage the appointment of another deputy.
Mr. Speaker, my reason
Honorable Bajra, if you look at this particular law, it doesn't make provision for appointment of 2 deputies. It's only 1 deputy. So if your proposal is that they should make provision for appointment of a second deputy, it's a different thing altogether. Other than that, the rendition is correct.
Mr. Speaker, I want to propose that the deputy director should be 2.
Well, let me put a question on 16, then you can make provision for a new this thing. As many as are in favor of clause 16 standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 16 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Yes. Clause 17.
Functions of the Deputy Director General.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, so he has abandoned his proposed amendment.
Very well.
Yeah, because we are dealing with value for money and want to add cost.
Any proposed amendment to clause 17? Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no advertised amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honour members, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of clause 17 standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 17 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 18.
Secretary to the board.
Chairman of the committee.
There is no advertised amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honour members, any proposed amendment? I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of clause 18 standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, clause 18 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 19.
Appointment of other staff.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no advertised amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendment to clause 19? In the absence of any proposed amendment, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of clause 19 standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. Clause 19 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 20.
Divisions, directorates and units of the office.
Chairman of the committee.
There is no amendment, Mr. Speaker.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendment? Honourable members, in the absence of any proposed amendment, I'll put a question. As many as are in favour of clause 20, standing part of the bill, say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 20 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 21.
Internal Audit Unit.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no advertised amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendment? In the absence of any proposed amendment, I'll put a question. As many as are in favour of clause 21 standing part of the bill, say aye. Aye. As many as are in favour of clause 21 standing part of the bill, say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 21 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 22.
Funds of the office.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, clause 22, amendment proposed. Delete and insert the following. D, donations and grants. If you read the original redemption, D is donation, grants, and gifts. So we are deleting the gift. Value for money office, if you go and take gifts, it will influence your decision.
Honourable members, the amendment is for the consideration of the House. Any further amendment? Yes?
Mr. Speaker.
Yes, you have the floor, Agaga.
I'm not very convinced. There is a slight distinction between a gift and a donation.
So it is based on that slight distinction,
Yes, but
that they said that the value for money office should not receive gifts.
Mr. Speaker, contrary to the view held by the chairman of the committee that gifts by their nature can influence a decision-making process, is equally applicable to donations. There's a slight distinction between...
What is the difference between gift and donation?
Yes. So, Mr. Speaker, donations are mostly made to charities. But gifts are gifts. The definition is almost the same. So for me, it would serve a useful purpose to retain the two. Because the logic that gifts and it can influence the decision-making process.
So if you are working...
It's not very sound.
You are working in the value for money office. You can take donation, which generally is charitable. But you can accept gifts. That is what the rendition is saying.
No.
Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, we are setting up an office which will perform the function of always looking through whatever is going to be procured to make sure that Ghanaians are getting value for money. I believe that this should be an office that should be financed entirely from the public purse. Money allocated by Parliament from central coffers. Why am I saying so? You see, people will come to you in the name of capacity building and make grants. But don't forget that we will be procuring items from those countries where those people are coming from. It will just look like an innocuous development grant. But when you are procuring aircrafts from their country, when you are procuring vessels from their country, and etc., you don't want to put yourself in a position where those doing the valuation will be in any way influenced by the idea that these people have been charitable to our organization. So for the same reason that we raised the bar when we're dealing with the disqualification from occupying the office. Again here, when it comes to financing, let's raise the bar. So donations, gifts, grants, we don't want any of them.
We just want an office.
So your proposal is to deny.
No.
Mr. Speaker, I understand the concern raised, Mr. Speaker, but we discussed this issue at the committee level. We discussed it as well in extenso. And the difficulty we had was you cannot be creating a body corporate and you establish the office as a body corporate and still starve it of potential funding sources. We admit that even the loan, we took a decision to take out the loan which will be spoken to by the chairman of the committee because we wanted to avoid the tendency of people abusing it and creating a contingent liability on the government. So, Mr. Speaker, I will want us to leave it at we may put in measures to control the abuse of this particular funding source, but you cannot create a body corporate and then say that the only way that body corporate can survive is to make government allocation to it, and we are denied other sources like donation or what have you. Mr. Speaker, I so urge the House to leave it as is. Otherwise, we discuss that consideration, all those risks that have been discussed in this particular, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much.
Honorable Bedra.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I entirely agree with the majority leader. As a member of the African Parliamentarians Network Against Corruption, anything that will, bring its head to show that there will be corrupt practices in this department, who is supposed to fight corruption, should be taken out. Donation can influence. The same grants can also influence, just as is mentioned, and gifts. So I agree entirely that the deal should be taken out completely. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Deputy Minister for Finance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I disagree with Majority Leader Honorable Bedra with the inclusion of grants. I don't have a problem if we want to delete gifts and even extend it to donations. The reason being that, Mr. Speaker, we belong to multilateral institutions. And if, as a member of a multilateral, there is some grant that we can access to strengthen our institution, you are deleting this and saying because of this we will not be able to access the grant. No. I understand his argument that maybe the grant is from a country or a company that will require the services of, but you cannot extend it to all
donations and grants.
Thank you.
Are charitable in nature. We cannot establish value for money office and say the office will entirely be financed by the government.
Mr. Speaker, I share the sentiment of Majority Leader and other members. But Mr. Speaker, let's be careful here. Just last week, we met with the World Bank Group. They have strengthened oversight work of Parliament or some committees here. They are taking care of all those expenditures. We set up PIAC. What is happening to PIAC? They are not able to perform their functions effectively because of budget lines. Sometimes they go begging for money, they don't get it. So
that's why I have a problem with your second amendment to delete the E.
We are taking
because you can't create a body corporate and say you cannot have capacity to take loan. You want it to be an independent office.
They can take loan.
You want it to be an independent office
because they have their source of funds, penalties, and others.
Let me do it this way. Let me put a question on the proposal to delete gift. All those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. So let's move further to the second amendment, VIII, by the chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, amendment proposed. Paragraph E, delete. You are deleting the entire E.
Please, you cannot establish a body corporate and make laws.
Yes, so Mr. Speaker, from your explanation.
Yes.
I think I'll abandon that proposed amendment.
Very well. Then we are coming to clause 22 in its entirety. Any further amendment? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I am proposing further deletion of, I'm proposing a deletion of F. My reason for this proposal is that I think that inherent in F is in A. Unless, of course, there's difference between approved allocation from public fund. There cannot be any allocation from public fund without Parliament approval. So I see F and A almost the same or duplication.
It is for the consideration of the House.
F.
Honourable members, any further view? I'll put a question. As many as are in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is carried. Now to entire clause 22. As many as are in favour of clause 22 as variously amended, standing part of the bill, say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 22 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 23.
Bank accounts of the office.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no proposed amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendment to clause 23? I'll put a question. As many as are in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 23 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 24.
Expenses of the office.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no proposed amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Any proposed amendment to clause 24? I'll put a question. As many as are in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 24 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 25.
Accounts and audit.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendment to clause 25? In the absence of any proposed amendment, I'll put a question. As many as are in favour of clause 25 standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 25 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 26.
Annual reports and other reports.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no proposed amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendment to clause 26? In the absence of any proposed amendment, the question is as many as are in favour of clause 26 standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. Clause 26. The ayes have it. Clause 26 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 27.
Establishment of digital management platform.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, I'll put a question. In the absence of any further amendment, as many as are in favour of clause 27 standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 27 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 28.
Establishment of value for money unit.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, amendment proposed, subclause 2, paragraph A, delete.
Is for the consideration of the House. I'll put a question. As many as are in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is carried. Chairman, the second amendment on clause 28.
Mr. Speaker, subclause 6, after paragraph B, insert the following new paragraph. Information and communication technology. I so submit.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendment? In the absence of any proposed amendment, I'll put a question. As many as are in favour of the proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee to clause 30 say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now to clause 30 in its entirety. Those in favour say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 30 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 31.
Requirement for value for money certificate of clearance.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no advertised amendment.
Clause 31, Chairman, we have advertised amendment as in XII.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. Clause 31, amendment proposed, subclause 1, lines 1 and 3. Before contract, delete public.
It is for consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendment? In the absence of any proposed amendment, I'll put a question to Chairman's amendment. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 31 is ordered amended as proposed by the Chairman of the committee. Yes, Chairman of the committee, VIII.
Mr. Speaker, last one for clause 31, subclause 2, paragraph B, delete.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendment? Any further amendment? I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of the proposed amendment by the Chairman of the committee say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now to entire clause 31. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The entire clause 31 is ordered, as amended, is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 32.
Request for value for money assessment.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, clause 32, amendment proposed. After subclause 3, insert the following new clause. Where the office declines a request from a public entity for a value for money assessment, the office shall in writing communicate the reasons for the refusal to the public entity as so submitted.
It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any further amendment? Yes, Honourable Patrick Yabuama.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Just to add a further amendment that communication should be made within 14 days of the decline. You just left that gap there.
Chairman, what do you say to it?
At what point must that communication be made? It has to be clear.
Mr. Speaker, I think public officers might be responsible enough, so...
Very well. I'll direct the drafters to integrate the 14 days notice. I will then put a question. As many as are in favor, yes.
Within 14 days of what? Is it within 14 days of when the committee takes the decision? Okay, then that's fine.
I'll direct the drafters to take care of the 14 days notice. I'll put a question. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now I'll put a question on entire clause 32. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 32 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 33.
Conduct of value for money assessment.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, there is no proposed amendment.
It is for the consideration of the House. All members, any proposed amendment? In the absence of any proposed amendment, I'll put a question. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 33 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 34. Clause 34.
Few-hour value for money assessment.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, amendment proposed, clause 34, subclause 1, after paragraph A, insert the following new paragraph. Technical specifications and standards. As so submit.
It is for the consideration of the House. All members, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. All members, is there any further amendment to clause 34? Honourable and Prachum. I'll put a question. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. Clause 34 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 35.
Post award and post completion value for money assessment.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, clause 35, amendment proposed, paragraph B line 1, after variations insert in scope, as so submit.
It is for the consideration of the House. All members, any proposed amendment? In the absence of any further amendment, I'll put a question. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 35, as proposed to be amended by the chairman of the committee, is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now, entire clause 35. Those in favor of clause 35 as amended standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 35 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Honourable members, let me take 2 minutes suspension.